the #1 quarterback from the class of 2024, Julian Sayin, transferred from Alabama. He is committed to the Ohio State Buckeyes. This is massive for Ohio State. A lot of layers to this. What's the impact he brings to Ohio State? We'll talk about it right now, but first things first, Ohio State Buckeye fans, man, been a big offseason. Going to be a big spring football season, I'm sure, and even bigger, I'm imagining, fall for the Buckeyes. So we'll talk a lot about your Buckeyes, talk a lot about what's going on in Columbus. Want y'all a part of this? Make sure you're subscribed. We appreciate y'all in advance for getting that done. Roll, party, roll. All right, so what is Ohio State getting in Julian Sayin? That's probably a good place for us to start here. As I mentioned before, the #1 quarterback from the class of 2024, quick release, one of the more refined quarterbacks from the 2024 cycle, and Charles Power, director of scouting and rankings here at On3, describes him as a really high floor prospect. To put it simply, dude's going to be a baller. He's shown you all the tools to be a baller, and he's going to more than likely have a tremendous college career. Now, fortunately for the folks in Columbus, you got him on your roster now. From a macro level, here's what I think this is for Ohio State. You are upping the talent level in that quarterback room. Now, to be clear, this quarterback room now is pretty crowded. You got Devin Brown. You brought in Will Howard via the transfer portal as well from Kansas State, who's played a lot of college football. You also have another quarterback who was also top 5 in the 2024 class, and that is Aaron Noland. So, yes, you're going to have just a competitive quarterback room as a whole, but I think most Buckeye fans are saying, whoa. I mean, can we keep both of these guys from the 2024 class? I think the best way I could describe this is you have not one but 2 great options for the future in Julian Sayin and Aaron Noland. And the fact that you have them now in the same quarterback room competing every single day at practice, like whoever's the better quarterback is going to earn it. Whoever ends up being the guy for you from that class will have earned it every single day behind closed doors in practice, going head-to-head with the other guy. Okay, so iron sharpens iron, and you're going to see not just the development dividends of both these guys going against each other, you're going to see the competitive dividends. The guy who's able to kind of push themselves further than the other and benefit from the pressure of being at Ohio State and having someone to go toe-to-toe with every single day. So if you're a Julian Sayin fan, which I'm sure if you're an Ohio State fan, that probably makes you a Julian Sayin fan. But if you're just watching this thing from a 30,000-foot view, you're saying, well, why does Julian Sayin pick Ohio State? Again, there's already a quarterback from the 2024 cycle in Columbus. And I think when you look at the decision to go to Ohio State, if you're Julian Sayin, like in hindsight, it actually makes a fair amount of sense because competing has never been a thing that Julian Sayin has shied away from. I've never spoken to him, never sat down and listened to an interview from him. But by nature of committing to a place like Alabama, with as stacked as that quarterback room is right now and routinely in Tuscaloosa, that tells me like he knew he was going to have to compete wherever he ended up going. So now going to Ohio State, he's not flinching at that. He's going to have to compete in Tuscaloosa. He's going to have to compete in Columbus. He's ready for that. He signed up for that. So in that way, that box is checked. On top of that, though, you have to believe a big part of Julian Sayin deciding to commit to Ohio State, and this news just broke, so I'm sure we'll get more information as this thing develops. But I'm speculating that development is probably a very big factor for him. Otherwise, you don't commit to Nick Saban out of high school. You don't go to a place like Alabama. And for him to pick Ohio State now, after transferring from Tuscaloosa, tells me the exact same thing. Okay, if I'm going to go to a place that's going to help me reach my potential as a quarterback, might as well go somewhere and play for a head coach in Ryan Day who's worked with quarterbacks like the late Dwayne Haskins, who's been the head coach for a guy like Justin Fields and C.J. Stroud. Like, that all checks out to me pretty cleanly. And I think it's a great decision by Julian Sayin, essentially saying, hey, listen, my decision for my future, or what I want to get out of my future, I'm aligning this decision in the present with who's going to most efficiently and probably with the most structure to help me achieve my goals of having success at the NFL level and having success first at the collegiate level. So I'm excited to watch this. I think this is obviously a huge get for Ohio State, and for Julian Sayin, his priorities are what they are from the outside looking in. And to me, this checks a lot of boxes. So big get for Ohio State. The #1 quarterback from the class of 2024, Nick Saban's retirement, continuing to send ripple effects across the college football landscape, making their way all the way to Columbus, Ohio. The Buckeyes have a stacked quarterback room. They got a good one in Julian Sayin. Make sure you're subscribed. Don't want y'all to miss a minute of what we got going on right here. We appreciate y'all. We love y'all. Get at me on Twitter and Instagram at JD Pakel. Let me know how you feel about Julian Sayin heading to Columbus. We're going to keep this party rolling. We will see y'all next time. Hey y'all, thanks so much for watching. Subscribe to the channel here to make sure you don't miss an episode of The Hard Count. Also be sure to check out other videos on the On3 YouTube channel.